Hey, hey, hey. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the January Challenge Cycle Syncing Method Challenge wrap up session. I'm very excited to be here and to have you all here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, I think there's a chat feature where you can talk to me. Yes, there is. So please say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from and start telling me about what your favorite aha moment was or takeaways were from the challenge. We're going to kind of go through a couple of things together, and I want to set you up for success for the year. The reason why we're doing these challenges, and there are three. You are just at the completion of the first one of the January challenge, but there's a February one and a March one that you do not want to miss, and I'll tell you more about them towards the end. But I really want to wrap up for you today, and the reason why I wanted to do these challenges is because I am always interested in how do we um, get the most return with the least effort, right? Because there's so much to do and so many different things to try. But how can we really not just get the most out of what we're doing, but what can we do that's actually going to really change the trajectory of our future for the whole year? And when I really meditated on that, it occurred to me that if we did three things, one had like a certain focus for January, another focus for February, and then this last one for March that we'll be doing, that the rest of your year is going to be epic because you're starting the year with really wrapping your arms around critical things that are going to move the needle with your health and with your life. So, of course, we're starting with the cycle syncing method because it's the foundation. It's how we have to move forward through our days in a way that reduces stress and optimizes our hormonal health and protects our infradian rhythm. And I want to hear how that went for you. Some of the things that you did, just in case you may have forgotten all the wonderful things that you did during the challenge, but you, figured out where you were in your cycle, maybe for the first time. You focused on one area. I'm curious, did you pick health? Did you pick work? Did you pick relationships? And then you were going to really focus on implementing at least three of the tips from the power grid, right, which is different activities for the four different phases of the cycle. And you were sort of taking things off your list, right? And then you were starting to evaluate, did this make an impact? Did I have more or less energy? Did I feel more like things were happening in that serendipitous flow? And what were the things in my life that kind of felt like they were taking me out of the zone of that state of flow? And I think it's just such a valuable short way. There's obviously so much to do with the cycle syncing method, and it's an everyday practice, and month over month, it changes your life and your health. But to even just spend 7 days really taking some time to evaluate the ways in which your energy is built or depleted, and how we choose to focus on things in a systematic way can really start to help you understand how you could become more efficient and get more done with less stress. So it's a really powerful tool. If you have any comments to share, I would love to hear them. You can put them in the chat. Um, and otherwise, I'll just keep chatting. But of course, I'm here to talk to you and answer your questions. That's the benefit of having participated, as you get some time with me. So if you have some questions about that, I would love to hear. And I'll frame the questions, right, that I typically come up. A lot of women will say, this is great, and I love the idea of synchronizing more of my activities with my cycle. But what if life gets in the way, right? What if there's a deadline? What if there's something with work? What if there's something stressful happening in the world? What if other things outside of you allegedly are there to prevent you from doing the self-care practice that you would want? Well, I think it's just important to recognize that there are some things, of course, that we have to just deal with as they are. And that's good. That's normal. It's life, right? The degree to which you have stayed in your flow gives you a lot of energy to absorb that needs your attention, right? You have more energy and you're not going to be taken out. Your stress levels are going to be responsive. You're not going to be like, your energy is not going to be drained, right? Um, and that's something that you get it's kind of like the 80-20 rule that I talk about with food from my first book, Woman Code. If you eat organic food and the right foods 80% of the time, the 20% of life where there's a birthday cake or champagne or whatever, you know, your body can handle it. But if the ratio is the opposite, if like, over 50% of the time you're not eating foods that are healthful, then you're going to start to feel the effects of that more frequently, right? You're not going to be able to respond well. Your body's not going to be able to get over it as quickly. So that's the same thing with the cycle syncing method. If other things happen 20% of the time that it's not ideal for the phase you're in, or it's not perfectly aligned, it's okay. Let it be. It's fine. Nothing is 100% anywhere in nature. Nothing is perfect. There's no perfect flower. There's no perfect anything. Time is fleeting. According to quantum physicists, there's not even objects here. Everything is just moving. So just go with the flow. And if it's happening, let it be. But if you're practicing and you're committed to your cyclical self-care, you'll be able to absorb that stress without it taking you out. Alex, thank you for posting. You've been cycle syncing for 1 month now, and although your PMS related acne has not gone away yet, of course not, it's going to take a little bit of time. You're noticing a sense of inner peace that you didn't have before. Yes, this is exactly what is available to us all when we sort of really support this infradian effect in the body. I'm so happy for you. And I know that with continued support with food and supplements, that acne is going to be a memory, a distant memory. Um, Other challenges, if you have any questions about other challenges that might come, that's sort of like the biggest one that I always hear that I really love answering for people. Another one, of course, is what if your cycle's irregular and you're not sure how to continue on with the cycle syncing method. That's a reasonable concern. I've written about it in the flow. If you have disrupted cycle or problems with your period, that's what the Flow Living Health Center is all about. We are here to make sense of your hormones and to help them start working the way that they should. And I've developed programs and products to help you get out of hormonal chaos. So if your cycle is not optimal, you're right. It will be harder to use the cycle syncing method. So let's do the cleanup work first and get you to a place where your cycle is where it should be so that you can start leveraging it for your benefit in every aspect of your life. Um, all right, moving on from challenges, I want to talk about reframing success because one of the reasons that I, or one of the reasons why I thought it would be valuable to have a new paradigm that is mapped onto our biological clock for productivity was because of my experience trying to sort of do time management in a circadian only model, like a 24-hour clock daily planner. And so not only has project planning become much easier and more efficient and less stressful for me, the other thing that's available to you when you start doing this is that you get to redefine what success looks like or what productivity looks like for you from your biological centric point of view, right? So, from your female hormonal centric point of view, as opposed to having an idea of success or an idea of productivity be something that you're trying to adopt from the outside in, it's an inside out uh, projection of what success and productivity should look like for you. And it comes very organically. So it's been very relieving for me to actually, you know, like this inner peace that Alex is referring to in her comment. Um, uh, you know, I don't have an expectation anymore that I'm going to get everything done in a day, and I don't overload myself anymore because I know I have the whole month to map different activities onto. Let's say just from a work point of view. And then I'm also much more compassionate with myself. If I, had a sleepless night as a mom, I might change the workout that I'm doing or modify the way that I'm eating that day, all to support the stress that I couldn't avoid, right? So having this ability to know what's realistic and doable feels very like a newfound success for me, as opposed to the previous version, which was feeling like I was never doing enough fundamentally, right? So I always feel like I'm doing plenty and I'm not comparing myself to some other, vision of what productivity and success looks like. It's very easy for me to stop working or stop over planning, and to compassionately, respond to situations that need a little extra TLC for myself. So success looks like um, having enough to do without being overburdened and being able to include the care of my body along that journey of doing things, right? And another way to look at it, if any of you have read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, she talked a lot about sort of the priming work she would do, um, in between actually working on her art. She would go to museums or take herself on an artist date, is what she would call it. And I think that was just so brilliant because and the idea is that if you want to be accessing a peak creative state, right, that you have to fill yourself up with inspiration in a casual way so that it can kind of filter through you in unexpected ways when you get to work of making your art. And we may not all be artists, canvas, easel, paints, things like that, but your life and your work is your life's work of art, right? It is. What you're working on, what you're putting your hands into, your mind, your heart, your energy. This is your artwork, your expression of your creative talents, your thinking, who you are, your essence. So it's really great to be able to use a cyclical self care practice as a way of constantly keeping yourself refreshed and inspired and tapped into your creative life force so that you're always putting your best work forward. And that's a new way to define success as well, right? It isn't just about how much we get done, but it should also include the ability you have to take care of yourself and the ability you have to generate creativity within yourself by taking care of yourself and by not overburdening yourself. So, lots to think about there around, planning out the rest of the year in a way that incorporates a new vision of success and the practice that will keep you anchored in this unfalteringly will be the cycle syncing method. This practice is foolproof in ensuring that you are going to achieve a way of working, of expressing yourself that includes you and expands a more positive definition of success in your life. Another thing that I like to do that only people who are in Flow 28, which is our cycle syncing membership, have access to. This is something that I put together years ago for myself because not only does it make sense that we would organize each week of this, each stage of the cycle, the different activities we would do, but there are certain energies that or areas of focus throughout the year that we need to address, right? Like, for example, we always need to do some sort of spring cleaning, right? It makes sense. We like to do it in the spring. There's this form of physical space detox that is good to do at least once a year. And instead of not planning for it, I thought, wouldn't it be great if I kind of organized a key area of focus, whether that be an internal sort of reflection or some sort of external support to really focus each month of the year. So I organized them also in that same power grid. So the first 3 months of the year, of course, are like the follicular phase in that we are preparing. So there's a lot of turning inward and making space and all of this and self love. And when you do these next two challenges, you are really going to see what I mean because if January, the theme of January is really about tuning into your cycle, starting with the cycle syncing method, really understanding that you orienting your life around your biology is a key to your success and your best health. This is a deep way of tuning in. Next month is self love, and March is about making space. I'm not going to give away the March challenge, but I am going to tell you what the February challenge is, and in a minute. And so, if you can spend the first 3 months of the year preparing, right? Then when it comes time for spring, there's really about opening up and starting things, starting new things. There's sort of things that we do from an expansion point of view in the summer months. Um, And then there's sort of a rest phase that obviously coincides really nicely with the holidays because it's a time for slowing down and all of that. So these are some really, and there's so much more detail. This is just a high level. I know your time is precious, so I can't go into all of them here, but I wanted to give you a sneak peek of some of the additional ways that we really start to refine our practice of productivity and expand our definition of success beyond just the four phases of the cycle. We also want to look at the whole year and plan out so that every year you are starting and finishing in a way that is sustainable, that also gets you really moving the needle in many areas of your life so that you're really making a lot of having always forward momentum in a way that is um, manageable and not in fits and spurts and starts, but constant and sustainable. For those of you who are interested in joining Flow 28, you definitely are welcome to take your cycle syncing practice to the next level. There's a way that you can join and become an annual member. Just go to Cycle Syncing membership and use the code annual, and you'll get a whole bunch of bonuses, recipes, workouts, detox, cycle syncing cookbook. There's so many great things for you there. I would really, really encourage you to do that because I want you to keep going, right? There's always like it's great that you got started, but now it's time to really continue on for the whole year with cycle syncing. Alex has a question about caffeine and coffee. You're finding it difficult to give it up and you're currently having a cup of decaf in the morning. Does decaf I would rather you have full calf than decaf. Um, so decaf is full of chemicals, endocrine disruptive chemicals. Don't drink it. Do not drink it. Try to just, don't worry, don't be scared. Just, I wouldn't continue with that. Um, Here's the reality. 50% of the population does not make this enzyme that breaks down caffeine. You need to try to figure out if you are not making this enzyme. So I would recommend that you go to the Mayo Clinic's website and in their little search bar, put in caffeine toxicity. Read what is there, the medical definition of caffeine toxicity. It's a real phenomenon, and see if any of it resonates with you. You'll know right away. I've been at toxic levels of caffeine overload because I don't make this enzyme, and it is hard to mistake and hard to miss. So, if you have any of these symptoms, then the answer to your question is you do have to get off of it. And decaf is not the answer. The answer is, really finding a path forward without it. And I'm caffeine free for over 20 years, full of energy. Have, haven't slept properly through the night since I had my daughter. So we're going on 7 years. Like it's totally doable. It's about filling your cup up, not with caffeine, but with micronutrients. So if you haven't yet gotten on the balance supplements, that is why I formulated them. They keep you at the baseline levels that your endocrine system needs to manufacture your energy in the body, right? It doesn't just happen out of nowhere, and it certainly doesn't happen because you're caffeine deficient. So take a look, a deeper dive. um, Kukicha tea is good. You know what I love to drink? I'm drinking it right now. Dandelion tea. So good for the liver, so good for bloating and estrogen and clearing up your skin. I just love, love, love dandelion tea. Plus, it has that bitter kind of astringent thing that I mean, I haven't had coffee in over 20 years, but I think I remember it having an astringent kind of vibe to it, and a deep root nutty kind of flavor. So you can start switching to that. And Alex, you got to have calories in the morning to give you an energy boost if you're not having caffeine. So changing your breakfast game, having enough protein and fats is going to be a key for you to move off of the caffeine more successfully. And what I would do is just instead of doing decaf, just go like if you have a full cup of coffee, then go down to like three-quarters of a cup, then do half, then do a quarter, then do like 2 tablespoons of coffee. I mean, really get down to a tablespoon, 2 teaspoons, a teaspoon, not like then say goodbye to it, right? And that, but if you need to. Okay. Amanda is asking, do I have any good source of kukicha tea? I love Choice Organics, but to source good loose leaf tea, you can go to, oh my gosh, is it Star Botanicals? Um, S- Star West Botanicals. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but you want to find a loose leaf kukicha tea. Eden Organic makes loose leaf kukicha tea, and it's not leaves, right? It's actually twigs. And then you just boil them and let them sit, and it's very easy to make a pot. You can make a pot on Sunday night and then keep it in the fridge to strain out the twigs, and then you can just heat it up when you feel like having a little cup here and there. You don't have to like brew it every single time, because who has time for that? I don't, and I know you don't. um, Alexa, uh, I'm so glad that yes, well, of course I love being here for you guys. That's why we built the company. You got a science I had to take antibiotics. Life happens. You've had some disruptions or not to have things happen. I've had to take antibiotics over the years. Like, life happens. It's knowing and feeling calm and confident about what you do to recover yourself. Excellent. I am so happy to hear that, Alexa. Good for you. That's what I want for you and for everybody to understand, to know how their body works, to know if things that disrupt you, how they're disrupting you, and to know what steps to take to bring yourself back into balance. Because there is no perfect state of health. Everything is so dynamic. Everything is always in flux. Your hormones are always changing throughout your life. One phase of your life, you're in puberty. Another phase, you're in your reproductive years. Another phase, you're in perimenopause. Another phase, you're maybe postpartum. I mean, it's just always changing. So this idea that we have, which probably comes out of some sort of toxic patriarchal wellness confluence, which is that you should somehow be this perfect, healthy version of yourself, because now we've given up the whole like trying to be thin, like whatever, I hope. Um, and now we've sort of displaced that onto being like in perfect health or wellness. It's nothing in nature is perfect, and nor should you be. You should be uh, addressing the realities of your dynamic nature and being in compassionate response to them as best as you can. Right? That's it. Um, don't put that pressure on yourself. I don't put it on myself, and I don't want you to put it on yourself. I want you. That's why it's not a diet, it's a system, and you work the system. So if you haven't joined Flow 28, please join me there. We do live workshops every month. We dive deep into the monthly themes. It's so much fun, and you're with a community of other women who are all invested in using the cycle syncing method in every area of their lives, workshopping out what challenges they're having. Really, how do we, because the whole world will want you to stop doing this, right? Because it's a circadian world out there. And here you are trying to sort of just support your infradian reality. It's really helpful to have a community of other like minded women who are trying to do the very same thing. And I'm there, of course, supporting all of us. So if you haven't joined Flow 28, I'm going to put the link below. Um, and again, there are so many great bonuses. Just go to this link and type, when you check out, type in annual, and you get some sort of half off the whole year. Like, I'm here to make this easy for you. I'm sure we could be charging all sorts of things. It's not really my orientation. I want you to do it, because it will change you. And when you're you have access to all of your vitality as a woman, you can go do incredible things. And I'm interested in a planet full of women who have access to all of their energy, all of their life force potential to go out and do great things that the planet desperately needs. So that's what motivates me. Just in case you were curious, why do I care so much? I care because I know for a fact that if you weren't sidelined with cramps, if you weren't sidelined feeling like a different person half the month, or with headaches, or with fatigue, or with brain fog, you have an incredible well of gifts and energy to contribute to the planet that so desperately needs us. And so that's what I am interested in. So please use the tools and the programs and the services and the products that I've built to make you getting access to this aspect of yourself as easy as humanly possible. It does take a little effort, of course, on your part, but I've tried to build just the right toolkit to make it as simple and straightforward as absolutely possible, so that you can just, without having to become encyclopedic about it like I am, you could just get the information, take it, do it, run with it, and start going off into whatever direction you want with your life. So there's all sorts of great Bonuses, like I said, join, join, join. Okay, in the few minutes we have left, I want to talk about, I'm so excited. I want to talk about the February challenge. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. The theme of February every year is self love. And obviously, I chose that because I think the whole trope of Valentine's Day is a little bit problematic. As much as I am a romantic and I think it's also cute, I think it's problematic too. So there's that. But the other reason why is because I'm a champion for your health and well being. And there's a sad fact that I think we are not talking about enough. I wrote about it in my new book, In the Flow. And I'll remind you if you haven't seen it yet, is that 60% of women are sexually unsatisfied. And there's a problem with this because it's hurting your health and your longevity, right? You not having quality orgasms is actually a bad thing. The good news is that the female orgasm provides massive hormonal and anti aging health benefits, and, in my opinion, should be forevermore considered a key biohacking tool for women. Another interesting fact is that male biohackers, I talk to a lot of them. I'm like the only one of the only female biohackers, so I do get into conversations with them from time to time, and they're all um, uh, absolutely biohacking their orgasm for health and longevity benefits. And it's something that women should be doing too. But because we're missing some key information about how the infradian rhythm affects your libido and your response, and because we're not taught about how to optimize our arousal process, like we're all focusing too much on climax, that we're not actually reaping the health benefits available to us from this biohacking tool of our orgasm. So I believe that every woman deserves to learn how to biohack her orgasm to optimize certain health promoting chemical levels in the body. And I believe that every woman should learn how to use her orgasm as a biohacking tool to address hormonal and aging related health issues. So, because I believe that, I had to do something about it. And I did something about it. I've created this 7-day, you could call it a challenge. It's such a strong word, it's more like a training. It's more like me teaching you the distillation of 20 years of everything that I know about how you can biohack not only your orgasmic process, but how to use orgasm as a biohacking tool. It is not information that you have ever seen before. And in 7 days of this training or this challenge or this experience, really, it's going to be an experience. After 7 days, I am 100% going to transform the way you have orgasms. I'm going to change everything you think you know about your sexual response. And I'm going to give you the keys to ignite the kind of pleasure that you are built to have. It's definitely the sex ed we should have all had. And it's going to allow you to tap into a better future of health for this year. And that's why we're doing it in February. This is the prepare quarter, January, February, March. I want to front load your year with practices that are going to move the needle and really change the trajectory of your future. So you're going to, after 7 days, be a transformed person, and the rest of the year will be definitely different after you do this. So do not you if you've been in the challenge for January, you're going to automatically get information about this. But if you have friends, please tell your girlfriends, your sisters, your cousins, your coworkers, every single female tell them about it's free. It's free. And and that's the other thing too. I know a lot of these courses are about sexuality where they're like astronomically priced, and really this is just basic information that you should have, scientific information. It's not this whole thing about orgasm is not this like mystical, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't experience. No, you can, with precision, architect a particular response from your body every single time. I'm going to show you how to do that. It is not scary, or you don't have to show up in like a toga. Like, it's just normal stuff. Okay. And you know me, I'm really down to earth. I'm very direct and very grounded. So the whole experience is going to be an extension of that energy. So you're going to feel very safe, very comfortable. And it's little tiny bites. You're going to have 7 days of emails. I'm so excited about this. I just finished writing all the content for you. I haven't been this excited probably since I wrote In the Flow. So I urge you to do this. To It's historic to do something like this. That even this challenge even exists. It contains like 20 plus years of my own study that I've condensed down into this like life changing 7 day experience for you. And I just know how much it's going to change everything. So definitely join us. It starts on the 7th. I'm going to do a kickoff video like this with you on the 7th, and then we're going to do a beautiful wrap up on the 14th, of course, Valentine's Day. I promise you two things. Well, so many things, but for sure, this is going to be the best homework you've ever gotten in your life. You need nothing. You just need yourself. Okay. And it's going to be the best Valentine's Day gift you ever gave yourself for sure. There'll be a lot of other things for sure that you're getting, but those things I for sure know. And please, please share this. Thank you, Amanda. You're so excited. I'm excited. It's gonna be so epic. I've like literally, you should hear what we've been. I like finished writing it, and I reached out to all the people, a bunch of the women on my team, and I was like, I'm so excited about this. I had everybody read it. Like we're all a buzz. In a way, you could say we're all turned on about it. But it's really good. It's really juicy. It's really going to be something you don't want to miss. And do it with us together as a group, because there's sort of that power in the momentum, collective energy, and knowing that other people are doing it, even if you don't know who they are, just knowing that you're doing it as part of this group experience, it's going to help keep you in the zone of all the activities each day. It'll take you, oh, just in case you're like, well, how long do I have to deal with this every day? 20 minutes a day. That's it. Just 20 minutes. I'm sure you can give me 20 minutes of your day. I will definitely make it worth your while. And is there a link to sign up? That is a great question. I should have that link for you. Let me see. I might not. I might just be so excited that I just shared it without having a link. Sometimes I am not fully prepared. Forgive me. Let me see. Let me see if someone shared it with me. Hmm, I don't know. I don't see anything easily, quickly here. Oh, wait, maybe it's on the document. Hold on. Perhaps I'm overthinking it and I do have it. I do. Here it is. I have it. Okay, good. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Thank you for asking that, Alex. So excited. When I'm this excited, I neglect practical things. Here's the link. um, Share the link. Text it to everybody you know. Send a mass email. This is not to be missed. Nothing like this exists ever before. I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited about it. And I want every woman to have this experience in February, because it will change the trajectory of your year. On that note, now that I'm all hot and bothered, I want to wish you a good evening. Thank you so much for joining me in the January challenge. I just want you to know how seriously I take the fact that you trust me to be your guide on all things hormonal. I'm honored. And I really, really want to make sure that I'm giving you the best of things that are really going to move the needle. So I've curated what I think are going to be some 3 amazing short challenges that can really help kickstart and revitalize your relationship with yourself today, but then also throughout the rest of the year. So until I see you on the 7th for the kickoff call, take good care of yourself. And I look forward to seeing you in the February challenge and in our Flow 28 cycle syncing community. All right, ladies, thank you for being part of the January challenge. I will see you soon.